Hello everybody, welcome. Today I'm going to be doing part 4, I believe, to what if Deku had telekinesis. So this is going to be I'm probably going to make it 40 minutes or an hour, probably only 40 minutes because I deleted my what if Deku had weather manipulation. So this is actually going to be my 1,500 subscribers special. So let's get into it. Wait, no. First, if you guys have any magic you'd like Asta to have for my first Black Clover what if, please say them in the comment section. I really need a magic for him. And also give me some what if ideas for the second what if I'm going to make on my channel. I want to get a variety of them first. And if there's any noise in the background, I'm sorry, I don't know what it is. I think it has something to do with my microphone, even though it's brand new. So let's get into it. So where we left off, I believe Momo kissed Deku on the lips for the second time in their lives. So now it's the morning of the first day of school. Both Deku and Momo both woke up and did their normal routine, like brushing their teeth, taking shower, etc. So when they went to the kitchen, Momo told Deku that he'll make breakfast today and that he should take a rest. So she made some pancakes which tasted amazing. Izuku commented on how good these pancakes are and asked what's the secret for these. This made Momo blush and she said, "There's no secret. That that's and that is her admiring how Izuku makes the food." This makes Izuku happy. Beep beep, they heard the sound of a car honk. And Izuku said, "Hey Mochan, I think our ride is here. Let's go to UA." Momo agrees, and she still likes her nickname Mochan. So they enter the limo romantically holding each other's hands. So when they arrived, they stopped holding hands because they don't want to make it obvious that they're married. But the staff at UA and Nezu knew about the relationship. So when they entered the halls of the second floor of UA, Izuku asked Momo what class he's in. "Mochan, what class are you in?" Izuku asked. "Oh, I'm in class 1A. Izuku looked happy and said that they're in the same class. So they entered the class early because Momo is the type of student who goes to school early and Izuku just decided to tag along with her. So let's say they were the first in class and Momo and Deku were talking, but then Izuku said, "Wait, be quiet, someone is sleeping here, we shouldn't disturb them." Aizawa heard this because he wasn't fully asleep and was happy that there was some student who could actually let him sleep in peace. Anyway, so the class slowly started filling up with students. And when Bakugo came and saw Izuku at UA, he lost it and screamed, "Why are you here? You weren't even in the entrance exam." He started charging towards Izuku with explosions. But Izuku does the move Monoma did at the sports festival, where he moved his hands in a way that made Bakugo pass him. So, and when Bakugo looked back again, he saw Deku's hand glow pink. He knew it could either squeeze him to death or drop him to his doom. So he instantly flinched. I'm actually going to put a gif of Monoma doing that, this time because I found a good video editing software. And so after that, Deku stopped and said, "Leave me alone." So a few minutes go by, and Ida is screaming at Bakugo, telling him to put his feet off of the desk. And Bakugo says, what he said in canon. I don't want to say because there's bad words. But Ida looked at Deku and Momo just talking to each other and instantly ran over to them. But Ida looked at, and he said, "You, the person who disrespected me in the written exam. You should be ashamed of yourself." Izuku gave him a lifeless glare with Momo glaring daggers at him as well. Then Ida asked, "How did you even get into UA? You're not in the entrance exam." Izuku says, "I was recommended." And Bakugo lost it. He started screaming at Izuku and was about to blast him in the face, but Momo made a shield. Izuku said, "Thanks, but you didn't have to do that. He's so easy to handle." Bakugo gets mad at this comment, but just lets it slide, because he knows he can't really get close to them. So, Uraka came to the room and thanked Ida for saving her. He said it's no problem, and we flash back earlier. During that time, Ida was able to kick the pile of rebels, and grab Uraka and run away from there. So, end of flashback. Uraka came back into the room and thanked Ida for saving her. He said no problem, but Aizawa woke up and said, "Why can't you students let me get some sleep?" the two first students to come in left me sleep in peace, and always put these PE uniforms on and meet me outside. Also, I'm writing the story on Wattpad, so I'm going to leave a link to my Wattpad link in, I think that's how we say it, in the description if you guys want to check the story on there. And I might make it go ahead of me, like, of how I am, because I want to do daily uploads. So it might get a bit ahead of what I'm saying, which means if you want to listen to it, to read it before I make the what if, then go on that. So far I've only made 2 chapters, but I'm planning on making 2 more today. So yeah. Aizawa would say to put on these PE uniforms and to meet him outside. So when they were in the changing room, Mineta said, "Hey Midoriya, an older generation of heroes saw." I know, I'm making this a bit early. Normally it was after the rescue race, but I'm going to make it have 2 occurrences like this. So, when they were in the changing room, Mineta said, "Hey Midoriya, an older generation of hero saw a hole into the wall." Then he kept going, saying how he wants to see the girls, which made Izuku mad, and he said, "You pervert, stop that," and used his telekinesis on Mineta and threw him into the ground. He also, Jiro was listening to the conversation ever since he saw the hole, and even the other girls could hear it because they were loud, and Momo felt kind of happy because Deku wouldn't let anyone see her like that. So when they leave the changing room, Momo comes to Izuku and says, "Thanks for that. Thanks for stopping that pervert." Izuku smiled and says, "I want you for myself." This made Momo blush, and she was happy about this. So, when they made it to the field, Mr. Aizawa tossed the ball to Baku and said, "Hey you got first in the entrance exam. What was your highest softball? What was your highest softball throw in middle school?" Sorry, I'm getting Discord notifications. Bakugo replied with, 67 meters, I think. "Okay, then use your quirk," Aizawa replied. As he tossed the ball over to Bakugo, Bakugo grabs it, and then for a second he's just like taking deep breaths, and then he throws the ball with a huge explosion following it, and yells, "Die!" Izuku is wondering to himself, why did Bakugo say die? Mr. Aizawa called up Izuku and says, "Midoriya, you got first in the recommendation." Wait, no. You technically got first in the recommended exam because the other guy decided not to go. He threw the ball at Izuku and told him to throw the ball as well. So Izuku uses let's say he can't really control One For All. So he uses it at 100%, and he knows how the backlash One For All causes his body, and so he knows what, oh my god, I'm sorry, I'm stuttering. He knows backlash it causes to his body, so he decided only to put in one finger. So he used One For All and then made a huge blast behind it. Let's say in this it was so much stronger, you could hear a few windows shatter, and it went very far, and Izuku uses his telekinesis to bring it to outer space. Everyone is shocked with their eyes wide open, even Momo. He didn't really expect this. And Izuku says, "Oh my god, I may have gone overboard." Aizawa would glance at Izuku and see his hand was broken, and would think, that's a very weird quirk. Okay, so everyone is wide-eyed at this, and Aizawa comments saying, wait, I already said everyone was wide-eyed. Aizawa comments saying, "I see exactly why All Might would recommend you, but the damage to your body. Is that supposed to happen?" And Mina was in the middle of saying that this looks fun, but then everyone would set up, and when Aizawa said, "All Might recommended Izuku," this also catches Todoroki's attention, and Bakugo screams and says, "Why would the symbol of peace recommend you?" Bakugo is charging at Izuku with explosions, and Deku is about to use his telekinesis, knowing that, his One For All Air Force, but Momo makes a big shield and throws it in front of Bakugo with stupidly precise aim. Kinda concerning. Hagakure comments on this, but everyone brushes it off. Bako starts charging at Momo, and when she makes a shield, he goes to the side of his explosion and is about to blast her. But Aizawa canceled Bako's quirk, and Deku was about to make an air barrier where Bako was about to hit her. And then Deku smashes Bako to the ground with telekinesis and goes to Momo and asks if she's okay. So Deku would get first place in all exams except the ball throw because he tied with Uraraka. The side-to-side jumps, he wouldn't get first place because Mineta's balls are perfect for that, and grip strength, Soji would get first. Let's keep it realistic. But for the others, Deku would get first, and Momo would get second, Todoroki third, Baku's fourth, and so on and so forth. So, Baku is still mad and wants to hurt either Deku or Momo, but resists. It's the end of the day, and Izuku and Momo are walking out of school. They're both chatting about some random stuff, so Uraraka and Nito wouldn't approach Deku or Momo. So they would see their limo, and Izuku would hold Momo's hand and escort her to the limo, and then he would say, "Ladies first." She would blush and say, "Thank you, my man," as he would walk into the limo. Then Izuku would enter. So while in the limo, Momo would ask about Bakugo and why he was very angry at Izuku. And Izuku would go on to explain how his quirk is seen as villainous, even though Bakugo's quirk is literally a terrorist streak, and that Deku is the name Bakugo gave him to insult him. Momo would think and say, "Well, I like the name Deku. It sounds great. It sounds like you can do it in Japanese." And she says it would make a great hero name. Izuku would blush at this comment and say, "Thank you, you're so nice. Deku it is." Then Izuku would hug Momo and say, "How did I end up so lucky to be with someone like you?" My script is almost over because I didn't finish enough of it. So I'm going to pause this recording soon and then finish the script, and I'm going to restart it. I hope you guys don't mind. So, it was lunchtime. Izuku and Momo were sitting together, talking about things Momo could possibly make, such as... Wait, no. Okay. Scratch that. Then Izuku would hug Momo and say, "How did I end up so lucky with someone like you?" So, it's the end of the day. I'm going to pause it and make the script for the battle trial arc. And then the what is it called? Cafeteria thing. Because that came after. So, yep. See ya. Oh, okay. I think this works. So, I'm done writing the script. And, so let's get into it. I don't think it's going to be 40 minutes long, but still. So, it's the next day. Izuku's point of view. We finally arrived at school from the mansion. We had normal core classes such as language, math, history, etc. We eat lunch at the main cafeteria, where we can buy stuff for a pretty cheap price. Me and Mo-chan were just chatting until the pro hero lunch rush asked us how we liked the food. I was amazed, the real hero in person. And in the afternoon, it's finally hero training. Still Izuku's point of view. I was sitting at my desk, which sadly was far from Mo-chan's desk, until I heard loud stomping from outside. I was curious and wondering maybe a villain could make some noise as loud as that. Then I remembered. UA has very tight security. I saw the door burst open as All Might came into the room, and I was so surprised and excited. I heard some students talking about how they didn't think he would actually be a teacher this year, and another saying this is going to be the best year. Also, I heard Tsuyu ask if he was wearing his Silver Age costume. Me and the rest of the class listened to him saying that this is the most important class and to think of it as Heroing 101. He pulled a card which said battle, then told us to do some battle training. Bako looked excited, and when All Might finished talking to us, Bako asked how much can they hurt the other person. All Might answered our questions and told us that an important part of being a hero is looking good. He clicked on a button on a remote, and I was a bit confused, wondering what would happen. Then some packages came out of the wall with student numbers. I was in seat 18 and Mo-chan was in seat 21. We were a bit close, so it was an exaggeration when I said we were far, but there was a pervert sitting between us. And in homeroom, the seats were put in a specific order, which where even numbers would sit together. I'm not even sure if that's possible. Only. He told us all to get ready and to meet him at training ground beta. I changed as usual into my hero costume. I'll leave an image on screen of his hero costume. It was a nice dark brown suit with a lighter shade of dark brown on the cloak. I had hands all over my costume, which I could possess using my telekinesis in order to fight. I had pom-pom-like balls to keep my cloak from falling off, and magnifying glasses only on one side of my eye, which I infused with telekinesis to allow me to predict someone's movements, and demon horns to show that I won't hold back in a fight. I walked to the field with a lot of students with me, also going to the field. All Might would say that the clothes make the pros and that we are proof of that. Flashback. 3 weeks ago, Ezekiel was confused, not knowing what to do for his outfit. He would go over to Momo, who was reading a book in her room, and Ezekiel would knock and say, "Can I come in?" Momo would say, "Sir," and Ezekiel would enter. He would ask what did he do for her design, because he's not sure what he wants to do. She grabs a piece of paper and shows it to him. He instantly blushes and says, don't you think that's a bit revealing? I'd expect some perverts in our class." Momo would say, "I guess you're right, but I won't be able to use my quirk really well to its fullest extent." So, 1 second, I'm going to pause this because my dad came here. Okay, so I have no idea where I was, so I'm just going to start from over here. Momo would say, "I guess you're right, but I won't be able to use my quirk to its fullest extent." Ezekiel would nod and say, "Oh, I see, thanks." As he would leave and go back to his room, he would hear a knock at the mansion door. He would say, "I'll get it," as he goes downstairs and sees his mom. "Mom, hello, why are you here?" "I don't mind, but did something happen?" She pulls out a costume from her purse and gives it to Deku and says, "Congratulations on your very own costume. I saw your notebook a long time ago while you were sleeping, and you wanted to be able to control stuff, so I made a costume. Come on, try it." She would say this as she brings him into the bathroom and tells him to change into it. 1 second. Okay. He would ask what she thought once he was done changing, and she'd say it's awesome. And Momo would come downstairs to see who was he talking with. Then she sees Izuku's costume and says, "Wow, that's cool." Izuku would smile and say, "Thank you." So, and he would hug his mom. End of flashback. Izuku would say to himself, "It's a gift from my mom. Of course I am going to wear it." So when he was thinking about it, the flashback, he slowed down when walking, making him the last to arrive. When he does arrive, Momo goes to Izuku and says, "You actually wore that one? Cool." Izuku says yes. A few students ask questions and Bakugo once again asking how much can they hurt the other team because he forgot the answer. Momo asked about the teams and Uraraka asked if they'll have to worry about getting expelled. And All Might would say they don't have to worry about getting expelled and listen and answer the other questions. All Might then says, as he pulls out a script. All Might says listen up as he pulls out a script. He explains the situation about how the villains have hidden a bomb and the hero team needs to find it. He said, to capture it, they'll have to either touch the weapon or capture the bad guys, and if they don't in 15 minutes, the villains win. All Might then draws the teams, and Izuku is paired up with Uraraka. I don't know if I mentioned this, but in this, Izuku is way taller. It's a bit taller than Momo, but that's all. Izuku would say, Uraraka seems nice. He would go up to Uraraka and say hello. I hope we can do well on this, and gives a smile. Uraraka also smiles and says, yes, let's win. Let's win this. All Might would pick up 2 balls from different lots and would pull them out and say, I declare these teams to be first. Team A and Team A will be the heroes and Team B will be the villains. Izuku is instantly shaken up, knowing he will have to fight Bakugo. And Bakugo is excited, thinking to himself, I'm about to put that loser right in his place. All Might says everyone can go to the monitoring room to watch. They all say yes, sir. So Izuku and Uraraka wait outside for 5 minutes for the villains to set up bomb. And when they're called up, Izuku calls Uraraka, then uses his telekinesis to lift himself and Uraraka up a window. He thanks him, then says that their quirks are similar. So while they're walking, Izuku is thinking about how he can win, and then hears Bakugo come to the side about to blast an explosion at him. As him and Uraraka. He jumps, pushing Uraraka, and he lands on top of him. Momo thinks to herself, why couldn't I end up on top of him? Baku says, damn it, Deku, you're actually able to dodge that. Consider me impressed, loser. Baku would say, come on, use your stupid superpower quirk or whatever. He would blast towards Izuku, but Izuku puts his hand near each other as a ball of pure telekinetic energy would appear. He throws it at Bakugo but misses. Damn, I can't make these balls quick enough. Izuku thinks to himself. Uraraka tells Izuku to use one of the balls on the ground. He's confused but does it. And then she uses her zero gravity to throw a bunch of Rebel at Bakugo, kinda creating a smoke screen. Izuku, seeing this as a chance, would put his hands together and make another telekinetic ball, but this time it turned into a beam. Telekinetic geyser! Izuku shouted. Then he flashed back to the training he did with Momo, where he used his summoning quirk to make moves because it's easy. Well, to make moves because it's easier for him to memorize. The moves, if he gives it's easier to memorize if he gives it a name. Bakugo, seeing this, would go wide-eyed as he'd get hit, but these themselves don't do much damage, but together deal a huge amount of damage. Sorry if you hear gulping. I know it's disgusting to hear, but it's hard to speak quickly. Anyways, and they do more damage to, and yeah, I don't think I mentioned this, but they do a lot of damage to more damage to building, to telekinetic balls, and Izuku's regeneration only works well on others, just to not make him OP. On him, it's very weak and can barely heal a crack on a bone. Bakugo gets up from a pile of rocks, and in the monitoring room, people are cheering Izuku on. Then he grabs Uraraka's arm and says, we need to get out of here. As they both flee, Bakugo is super angry and goes towards their direction. Bakugo blasts towards them and deals an explosive punch to Uraraka, knocking her to the ground. Izuku says, no, Uraraka! Bakugo is about to hit Izuku with an explosion until Izuku pulls his fist out, about to use one for all. Then he remembers what will happen if he uses it. He might shatter Bakugo's skull and Bakugo's bones, or he'll hurt himself. So he stops, getting hit square in the chest. He falls back and Bakugo is about to land another hit, but then Izuku puts his hands together, and a bunch of clones start appearing around them. Everyone in the monitoring area except Momo are confused at how many quirks he has. Then he says, Death Pummel T! In case you don't get it, I mean, Death Penalty and Death Pummel T. So, yeah. As all of the clones start charging to Bakugo using telekinetic balls, they throw it at Bakugo, which he blocks with a huge explosion, and then clones start trying to punch Bakugo, but then he spins around using his explosions to spin faster and wipes them all out. Then he says, I'm done playing. These gauntlets, oh my god, I can't talk. These gauntlets have stored up enough sweat in the maintenance room. All Might says, has stored up enough sweat in the maintenance room. All Might says, no, don't do it. Bakugo, you'll kill him. Bakugo replies with, it's fine if he dodges. Bakugo pulls the pin and a huge explosion appears, shattering windows and a part of the building. Then there's a huge smoke screen. Izuku runs out of there and grabs Uraraka. He's using his regeneration quirk on her to make it to the final floor. Uraraka gets up and she's healed and says she's sorry for letting him down. Izuku says it's no problem. Bakugo, realizing where they're probably going, rushes to his top floor. Izuku arrives at the top floor and tries using his telekinesis to grab the bomb, but Ida tries kicking Izuku, distracting him. I should pay attention to the punctuations and commas that I put, so I don't accidentally say the wrong things. So, Izuku told Uraraka to go because he's going to distract Ida, like to go for the bomb. Uraraka is about to get the bomb, but Ida grabs it and runs. We hear the explosion coming out of the door, and Izuku says, "Here it comes," and tells Uraraka to run. She runs out of the way, and Baku breaks into the room, smashing Ida with a huge explosion, exploding Ida's helmet. All Might says the hero team wins because Uraraka touched the bomb, and Izuku smiles at Baku, making him angry. After that, Izuku declared the MVP of this fight. So the reason why it's like Ida was in the way, so when Baku broke into the room, he accidentally hit Ida. And I'm going to end video here. It's 25 minutes. I'm sorry it's not as long as I wanted it to be. Just, I didn't have enough script. I'll have to write a very long script. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Bye-bye.